Good evening. I apologize for the delay, but welcome to the work session of Methacton School Board. Please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. A couple of reminders. To the board, Michael has asked that I remind you to please turn on your microphone. We don't have them built into the table as we usually do at work sessions. So if you would try and remember to hit your button before you start speaking. Also, to everyone here tonight, there's going to be a small reception this evening immediately following this meeting for the purpose of welcoming Dr. Zerbe to our district. So please, invitation to all, please join us. Attendance, all school board members are here and accounted for. We will be voting on on two items this evening. So do I have any public comment on board actions this evening? Okay, there being none. Under Board Action 1, MCIU Rep, I put an email out to all of you asking for a volunteer. They came rushing in. I got one volunteer. And that was Mr. Phillips. So we can do this in one in a couple of different ways. We could either have Jim fill this post until reorg, and at reorganization when all chairs are and all kinds of assignments are reassigned, or we could have him go through, sign up and have him appointed through 2014. At that time, there's another election held at the IU, and so the term actually would go through 2015. So do I have a nomination? Do I have a nomination to have Jim be our IU rep?
Well, are we having him for this end of this, or are we having him for the whole?
Comments?
Doesn't, whatever you, I'm fine with coming to the end. I mean, but if you want to do it again and reorder.
Well, I just thought, that would, if you go to a couple of meetings and you get the feel of the meetings and you realize that that's not something that maybe is your cup of tea.
Good point. We'll go until the.
Okay, so then, do I have a motion to appoint Jim to be our IU rep through December of 2013? Mr. Nascimento, second, Mr. O'Neill. All in favor? Yeah, 8-0, motion carries. Congratulations, I think you have a meeting tomorrow night, Jim. I have a schedule for you, but I think I attached the schedule when I sent out the email. Good. So we'll look forward to your report. Second on the agenda here is to approve Dr. Miller to work on special projects as assigned at a rate of $650 per day. That is mostly just going to and attending and being in attendance at our conditional use hearing. He did testify and needs to be there should he be recalled. So do I have a motion to approve this rate? Mr. Nascimento, second. Mr. O'Neill, any comments?
Go ahead.
I guess I just have a question as to whether it might be in our best interest to look at a hourly rate instead of a daily rate, if we're going to be called in and out and back and forth for testimony.
Any other comment on that?
I was going to keep it simpler where it was a half day or full day. Basically, by the time you wind up and show up, even if you showed up for an hour, you got a half a day into running around. That's not including travel time or anything like that. So.
And it will probably include some prep time, I would think, right, Frank?
It very well might.
You know what? I think Dr. Miller has been very, very free with his time. He's given us far more time than we have paid him for. I know, I approve it. So.
Well, was this his request, or is it what we just decided, or what we should think?
Did he speak with you?
Yeah, this is my recommendation based on my conversations and what we know regarding the potential for the items that he needs to represent the district in standing in court. So I think that with all the different nuances regarding not only the conditional use hearing, but potentially any other litigation that may assume his time, the $650 per day is my recommendation, so that it's clear that he's making a commitment for us, not only for prep work, but also for travel, and everything's all included. So there's no additional charges for anything else. So it's really a clean opportunity for us to make sure that we get his commitment to help us through this process.
And do we, putting aside any future litigation, do we have any sense of how many days we're going to be looking for him to be around for this in the near term? Impossible to say, or?
It's nearly impossible to say, but in layman's terms, I would say possibly 3 or 4, maybe 5 more opportunities, depending on how lengthy the conditional use hearings go.
If I remember correctly, when he retired, we had a similar situation. And I don't know how often we used them back then. I don't know if you have any recollection to that, or Bob, maybe you do, but.
I don't either. I wasn't on the board when he retired. However, I would think that if Dr. Miller is coming out here to attend the conditional use hearing, that he'll probably piggyback that with you on other issues that you may need to talk about him, and would make it a full day. But I can't be certain of that.
Well, plan that, or Dave can plan that.
I think the seriousness of the district having proper representation at the conditional use hearings is the $650 per day is justifiable to have Dr. Miller's expertise representing the district. That's my recommendation, and I hope that we can improve that this evening.
Any other comments, questions?
Just a comment. Sorry, just a comment. I would just be, I'd prefer to just pay him for his time, period. I mean, I think he'll be honest about it, and if he put 20 hours in, he should be compensated for 20 hours. I don't understand the complication of a day, a half a day type of category. We'd want to do that with any type of provider of services, so it's just my thoughts.
Okay, all in favor? 1, 2, 3. And opposed? Okay, that's 5-3. Well, then you'll have to go back and speak with Dr. Miller and see if that he can do this on an hourly basis for us. Does that work?
Or half-day full. I mean, it's something that, I could say, as far as flying contract pilot work, we get paid for the day. It doesn't matter if it's an hour flight and we're back in 2 hours, or if it's a whole day. It's a day rate because you got time to travel. I mean, that's what I deal with, and what flying is when you're a contract. So this isn't abnormal from what I'm used to, but it depends on how much we use them. So.
And I guess my problem is I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around the fact that if he's at a conditional use hearing that starts at 7, granted he gets there at 6, okay, 4 hours, getting paid $650 for 4 hours. That's the problem I have.
Well, there's prep time, right? He's not just going to show up and
And I'm pretty sure
But
that
he's not going to be on the stand every single time.
I'm pretty sure that if Dr. Miller were coming out here for a conditional use hearing, although I'm not certain, that he would probably be spending some time here in the district.
I would just add that as a consultant, that's pretty much standard operating procedure. I mean, you put in your hours, you put in an invoice, it's very clean, neat, you get paid.
Well, certainly at this level, very often you see they get paid by the day, the services, and it doesn't get broken down to hour. But that's,
it's just different in every industry,
It
right? So
absolutely
we don't do
is,
hourly. I
yeah.
mean, we have big corporation, they're paid by the day. So it's however the board wants to do it. So
Right.
just go back to Dr. Miller.
But the motion didn't carry, so if you could go back to Dr. Miller.
Will do.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to voting items for next week, Dr. Zerbe.
We will be appointing the new student board representatives, and administration of the oath of office. We'll be appointing Natalia Khazani and Arkariti Sharma as junior student representatives to the Board of School Directors for a term of 2 years. And the board president will administer the oath of office to the newly appointed student board representatives.
Just be asking that. I'll be asking you to approve the September 17th and September 24th board meeting minutes. Moving on to fiscal items.
Yeah, it's a long list of items on for next week for your approval. Actually, pretty standard stuff. The monthly list of bills will be on for your approval. The monthly treasurer's report will also be in for your approval. And lastly, our annual Beacon agreement, which is our employee assistance program. The rate as specified here represents no increase from last year and is the second year of our 2-year contract with this company. And that will be on for your approval as well for next week. Thank you.
Stuart, I'm sorry, can you tell me again what that is?
That's our employee assistance program. We have a contract with this company called Beacon that's actually now part of, what's it, Healthcare Associates? What's our new health advocate?
Yeah, Health Advocate.
Health Advocate, who is through the consortium. But we've had Beacon since I can remember ever being in the school district. It's an employee assistance program where we have the option to ask employees or assist employees during troubled times. They can avail themselves of counseling sessions. There's 3 counseling sessions built in. It's, all full employee assistance program. Actually, there's nothing out of the ordinary unless you have any questions, 8.4, 8 through 8.9, but I did want to call one to your attention because I'm thrilled about it. Under employment, personnel, Owen Farmer III was hired. We have lost again our aide for our driving instructor program in the school district. Extremely hard to find someone for that category of employment with the qualifications and quality to do that. We had a retired police officer who had just left us, and Mr. Farmer is also a retired police officer with experience driving with a driving school. So we just got incredibly lucky again being able to fill this aides position to keep that program going. But I think we've been on a roll with our luck being able to find the right people for that job. So I just wanted to call that to your attention. I think we're lucky, and Mr. Farmer is really a great hire.
So then you'll be asking us to approve down through 8.9, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And 8.10, Dr. Zerbe?
We'll have 3 items. One, a $500 for the Methacton High School Girls Track and Field Boosters Club to be used toward the purchase of a refrigerator. 2, $500 from the Methacton High School Music Boosters Club to be used towards the purchase of a refrigerator. And third, $500 from Methacton High School Football Boosters to be used towards the purchase of a refrigerator for the high school stadium snack bar. Under field trips, Methacton High School Ski Club to Little Cottonwood Canyon in Salt Lake City, Utah, on January 16, 2014 to January 20th, 2014. Costs to the district will be substitutes. Policy, second reading of Board Policy 006.1, Broadcasting Board Minutes. And number 8.13, Methacton High School Baseball Field Renovation Project. We'll have 2 items there. A donation of renovations to the Methacton High School Varsity Baseball Field from J.P. Mascaro and Sons, pending receipt of permit from Worcester Township. And 2, the naming of the renovated baseball field at Methacton High School to the Robert Childress Memorial Field. Robert Childress played third base for Methacton varsity baseball team in 1963, 64, and 65. After his graduation from Meth Acton, he was a 17th pick in the third round by the Los Angeles Dodgers. In 1967, he was drafted into the Army and went into Vietnam in May of 1968, where he was killed in action in July 1968. Another items, appointment of solicitor for collective bargaining. We're recommending for action at the October 22nd meeting for Sweet Stevens, Katz & Williams Law Firm to continue handling all collective bargaining matters with the Meth Acton Education Support Professional Association and the Teamsters.
Can I ask a question about that one? I guess I'm just curious as to why we are not having our solicitors firm handle that. Is there something I'm missing?
Through the discussions and the previous work that Sweet Stevens has done for us in previous negotiations, similar to the ones that are pending here by June 30th of 2014, we felt that this would be an easier transition for us while we're working with Bartle's firm to transition him into this realm in the near future. So we feel that this transition is needed in order to make the new contracts whole.
Yeah, actually, I had spoken with Dr. Miller about this at the time, and he said to me, just come into the district, and what would you like to do in this regard? And I said, I'd like the opportunity to, actually, we have three major things that you've given me to do right off the bat. First is the Shannondale matter, second is the Moloch civil suit against the school district, and the third is the Stadium Lights case, which we're right in the middle of right now. And we had agreed that we'll get through this cycle of collective bargaining, and we'll then pick it up beginning in the fiscal year, beginning in July of 2014, and pick it up from there with respect to the collective bargaining issue. So I was okay with that, and that was the recommendation that was suggested to the board.
Any other questions or comments on anything that we'll be asked to approve next week? Okay, we'll move on to non-voting items for discussion this evening. Dr. Zerbe.
Policy 009, censure, and policy 0112, civility. Are there any comments from the policy committee regarding these two?
It is the policy committee recommendation that policy 012, civility, that policy 009, censure, be eliminated. A board member was censured in 2008, and at that time, the solicitor stated that the board has previously been advised by the solicitor that it is not necessary for a school board to have a censure policy in order to determine that it will censure a member privately or publicly for what the board considers valid cause. So basically, you don't need a censure policy if you want to censure a board member. It is not required. And board policy 011, which is civility, in our policy, Board Governance Standards Code of Conduct, Section 2B3, it states that board members should work together in a spirit of harmony, respect, and cooperation despite differences of opinion. So our conclusion is that these policies are redundant, and that since in the solicitor's opinion that we don't have them, we are recommending that they be eliminated.
Can I just make one correction? There was no censure in 2008. The committee was convened, but the individual was not censured. Any other comment here? I actually happened to be at the policy committee meeting this morning and had a chance to look over the censure policy, and where I agree with you that we don't need a censure policy to censure a board member. We can do that at any time. What we do need is a procedure, and within the policy is the procedure on how a committee is brought together and the practice and procedures that should be followed in order to appropriately censure someone. So I'm having second thoughts now about eliminating that, because it's a procedure that we all need to know. And should one board member want to have another board member censured, they won't know how to do it. There won't be any procedures in place. So I'm kind of thinking about that about the censure. I haven't had time to look at the civility, but again, we have a week to review. Will you be asking for a vote next week on these?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments?
Well, I guess I have one more comment. I thought we spoke about this before, that we discussed that there was really no, if you censor someone, there's no consequence to being censored anyway. So truthfully, what is use of having a policy that has no
I beg to differ.
outcome?
I think there is consequence within the board. I think there certainly is a consequence. And I'm just worried about removing it, that we're also removing the procedure that should be followed.
And I take it that procedure is nowhere else mentioned in board policy.
It's a Methacton School District policy. It wasn't, it's not handed down from the PSBA. This policy was developed, I believe, in 2006 and has never been revisited. The policy committee is revisiting it for the first time.
Okay.
Okay, there being no other comments? First off, I did not announce executive session, and it just occurred to me. The board met in executive session prior to tonight's meeting, and we discussed two matters of litigation, one on the baseball zoning matter before the Worcester Zoning Hearing Board, and one on the conditional use hearing matter before the Worcester Board of Supervisors. And we will be going into executive session again after the reception, and I'm sorry about that. Just a little out of order. Moving on to new business. Is there any new business?
I just wanted to take a moment to publicly thank Dr. Fay and his counseling department for some help that they gave this week. We discovered that there were some issues going on with the Common Apps for College, which is basically, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a common form that everybody can fill out to apply to colleges. And there's been some trouble with them reformatting their system, and it was discovered that our stuff is not getting to the schools. Not that we're not doing it, it's all in queue, it's just not arriving at the destination. So I just wanted to thank them for taking a look at that and putting a plan in place just in case that does not get fixed in time for the November 1st deadlines for all the early people that want to get their get their applications in. So I just wanted to thank everybody for being on top of that, and I know it was one extra step in a busy season, but I think it was important that they be recognized for taking care of that. So thank you.
The taping of the conditional use hearings, is there a schedule when we're rebroadcasting or broadcasting those meetings, or do we know?
You mean the supervisors, right? We're not rebroadcasting them, right? The Worcester supervisors, is that what you mean?
Well, we're taping it for ourselves. The Worcester doesn't publicly have a channel where they videotape and.
I've heard that before.
Right, so since we have it, and it was asked if we were going to broadcast it, and if we were, when.
Are they on our website? Do you know they've been posted, like our board meetings?
No, we have not made a decision one way or another to post or not to post those meetings.
Do you need direction from the board, or is that just, as far as if it's going to happen or when?
I'd prefer talking with my administrative team about how best we can, deal with that particular process, because they are lengthy meetings, and it may require additional technology services other than ones that we typically stream. So let me gather some information and report back at our Tuesday meeting on October 22nd about how we can best address that, if the board so chooses to do so.
Okay. Okay,
Sounds
appreciate
good,
it.
thank you. Christian, do you have anything? No? Anything else?
I have an item.
Okay.
I just wanted to mention that tomorrow, Kathleen and I will be traveling to Hershey to the PASA PSBA School Leadership Conference to present with Jen Brucker on the importance of ongoing teacher training.
Cool.
So we'll see them. Thanks.
Good luck. Dr. Zerbe, you have an item?
I have two very recent announcements. The girls varsity tennis team has won the District 1 championship. They defeated Conestoga 3-2 this evening, and it's their first District 1 championship for Methacton School District in its history. So congratulations to the girls varsity tennis team. In addition to that, we also have a sophomore on that team that will play on the 23rd of October in the individual singles championship, so we wish her the best of luck in that process. In addition to that, I just want to make mention to the public and the board that on Monday evening, October 7th, 2013, Eagleville Elementary School main office suffered water damage as a result of a coil failure in the HVAC system. The damage is estimated to exceed over our deductible of $10,000, and we expect the office to be back in full operation sometime later next week.
Is that it?
That's everything, yes.
Anybody else?
I have a question. With Howard Jones' resignation, do we have anything to say about the replacement?
Yes, we do, actually. Thanks for reminding me. I sent you all out an email, and what we felt the prudent thing to do is to wait until after the general election. At that time, we will appoint the highest vote getter who's not a sitting board member already. So that takes us a little bit beyond the 30-day, but we felt that that was the most prudent way to do it. There's no, Frank, correct me if I'm wrong, there's no legal implications here.
Well, actually, under the school code, you are required to make the appointment within 30 days. The question is, what happens if you don't, and why is it that the recommendation was made by the president and then Dr. Miller, I believe, it was made
Yes.
by Dr. Miller, not by Dave, as to why it would be the case that we would do otherwise and what the ramifications are. And the reason why they didn't want to appoint within the 30 days is essentially you're appointing the individual immediately before the election. And when you appoint them immediately before the election, they may be replaced in the election by someone who would then take that position. So effectively, they would be being asked to serve from the latter part of October until the beginning of December. So it really wouldn't be able to get somebody up to speed and be doing what was necessary within that period of time to serve as a board member. So what Dr. Miller had suggested is that the board wait until after the November election, which would be November 5th, and then at the next opportunity to appoint the person, since Mr. Jones was not a candidate and would not have been in that position, someone would have been taking his position, and whoever is then going to be sworn in on the first Monday in December would then be appointed by the board immediately after the election. And that was the recommendation that was made by Dr. Miller at that time. In the event that you don't appoint someone within 30 days, there could be a petitioning of the court by a designated number of residents, but by the time that thing would be heard by the court, this matter is essentially over because you're only talking about a few days, really, until we get into December and the person takes over and is sworn in as a result of the election, as opposed to this small gap in the remainder of Mr. Jones' term. So that was the thinking of the acting superintendent at that time, and why Mrs. Petrauskas was asked to handle the matter in that fashion.
So what we'll do is right after the elections, as quickly after the elections as possible, we'll fill that position.
Yeah, I think I understood it, I just.
Right, and then they'll have to be
Forum.
re-upped again because this person's only finishing out the last month of a 4-year term. Okay, so thanks for bringing that up. If nobody has anything else, I have one other thing. In attending the policy committee meeting this morning, one of the things that we discussed about, and I believe it was under organization, was that I believe Kim Woodring, and I know I have asked committee chairs to fill out a form that indicates what they do, what their committee does, what the goals are, what's expected of them, the time commitment. And Mrs. Woodring had devised a very nice form and actually filled hers in and sent it around to us. I couldn't find it today, Kim, so I've asked Kim to send that back around, and with reorganization coming up, there's a lot of interest. People may want to delve into an area that they've never delved into before and want to know what it's about. So I'm going to ask every board member, please, by the end of this month, to fill this form in for any, Jim, I realize you can't do it for the IU, but if you're a committee chair, or if you're a representative to an outside, like to the tech school, please complete this and get it back to me so we can get something together that will facilitate our reorg. Other than that, I don't have anything else, and I'll move on to courtesy of the floor. Mrs. Alba.
Candy Alba. I don't know, I mean, I'm aware because I saw the paper. Next Tuesday evening at 6:30, Worcester Zoning Board is going to, I guess, hold one of the first of number of hearings for the new ball field. And next Tuesday, it's going to be, I guess, for the sign, whatever that they're asking for. So let's hope that there's no speed bumps or potholes, that they look at it and see that this is one of the best gifts the school district was given, and that we do need a new ball field. And what Mascara has planned is it's excellent idea. It's great for the district, the kids, plus the fact who it's in memory of. And I think that was one of the best things they could do. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that Worcester everything goes smoothly, and hopefully it could be in time for spring or maybe by the middle of summer.
Thank you, so are we. Any other comments this evening? There being none, do I have a motion to adjourn? Mr. O'Neill, second. Mr. Nascimento, all in favor? 8-0. Thank you, and please come join us for a reception right back here to welcome Dr. Zerbe.